In today's sales challenge workshop, it's day 405, and we're going to talk about take action. And actually, I couldn't have worn a better outfit. I'm going to the gym later, so that's why I'm not really in makeup, but it's fine. I also want to show you that it's okay, and that it's okay for me to show up like this. But the most important thing is not to look perfect or to have a perfect product already or to have a perfect sales page, but just do it. And yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. I think, this morning I sent out a newsletter on, the difference between successful and unsuccessful entrepreneurs. And you can subscribe through my link in bio. But the thing, what I really believe is the most powerful thing that you can do is to, talk to your ideal clients, but actually also take action then. So what I see happen often, in that market research part, we discussed this in day 2 also, is that you are, you're asking questions and then you're thinking, I'm not really sure what I should do now, and I'm a little bit afraid to do an offer. And then you don't do an offer because you kind of want other people to say that they want to hire you. And this was a technique which I used to do when I was working in arts and culture. I never really learned how to sell. I was just, having other people recommend me actually. And maybe that's also the way that you work, and, that's fine. But, one thing that I realized in 2020 when I was, working still as an interim manager in, mainly the non-profit sector, was that I learned that, just by having someone recommend you is not going to help you. So I had to learn how to sell. So that's why I'm doing this challenge, to show you that it's also possible for you and that you don't have to be afraid. So afraid to ask for the sale. And, how do you do that? And, I find it so fascinating. And, the thing is, I'm listening to many podcasts and reading many books, and actually all of them are saying, and I'm also saying it, that, sometimes you really know the theory, the theory. Yes, I should post every day. Yes, I should contact people every day. I should, do the thing every day, but then you don't do it. And I spoke about this in my podcast about motivation. It's the podcast episode of last week where I'm talking about, how you can motivate yourself because, it can be so difficult to actually do that, and because especially if you're alone, if you're a solopreneur, you always have to really motivate yourself. And motivation, I'm just going to show you real quickly. There's this book. I'm still reading it. I'm going to talk more about it, once I've read it and it's open in my on my dresser. Is that motivation has to really come from within. And actually currently I was also just looking at a motivational video of Tony Robbins, which is called Raise Your Standards. And Tony Robbins is talking about your musts and your wants. So his idea is that, and it's not just his idea, many people talk about this. In this video he's talking about, what everybody has a certain standard. If you want it or not, I'm also talking about this in this week's episode, but everybody has a certain standard. And, your standards are your musts. So those are things that you must do. So you always have to, pay the rent for your house, obviously, or your mortgage or whatever, or you must eat every day. And then there's also the wants, those are a little bit the shoulds, like I should actually work out. Like I told myself I should work out, or you should quit smoking. That's also what Tony Robbins talks about. And he talks about a moment where it just clicks, where you're just thinking, yes, I am actually going to change. For instance, for me it was, I quit smoking a long time ago, but then at parties I would still smoke. And then, sometimes in the morning I would have so much pain here on my chest. And that's, when I decided, okay, click, I'm going to quit because because I don't want this anymore. And, I don't want, I don't want this, I don't want to have problems with my lungs because, I decided to smoke once in every, a few months. So sometimes you just decide, when is your standard raised? And, as human beings, we are always evolving and we're always, developing ourselves. So you are always raising your standards. And and I'm calling this, for instance, in my Big Life course, Big Business, Big Life course, I'm calling this your definition of success, and that your definition of success is always changing. So think about when you were 10 years ago, you had a different idea of where you would be right now, and maybe you have gone beyond what you wanted, but maybe you're not. But you're always kind of in your kind of confined idea of what should be your standards. So I'm going to challenge you today to raise your standards in sales. So how are you going to do that? You are going to, to really think about, what is going to be making a really big difference. Because sometimes it happens that when you are struggling, you are kind of staying in the struggle, right? So you're staying in that struggle idea of, no, but it is just very hard. For instance, me as a business coach, it's very difficult to convince people that they really should do it. And, but actually, instead of, being used to that struggle, imagine what it could be if you would raise your standards and if you would talk to 2 to 5 people every day about your product or service, and just talk about it. And you can also do that ideal client exercise that I shared with you in day 2, but really talk with other people, talk about how they're doing, what they expect, and just build a relationship, really. Because I started my business coaching in March, and what I'm seeing happening is that I'm slowly building my tribe. I was an interim manager before, and that's what people have known me from. And just a few organizations could hire me back then. Also because of money, but also because they just don't need an interim manager. But actually, as a business coach, I can help so much more people. So for me, it's very important to grow my tribe. And I think it is for you too. If you have, this idea of 1,000 fans, it's a book actually, and I want to order it, but I can't, it's very difficult actually to order it to the Netherlands, but I will, because it was also a question from my clients. If you have a tribe, if you have a community, whatever you want to call it, it's much easier to sell. One of my other clients, they currently are selling a lot actually because they do have that tribe, and it's so easy for them. Every time that they launch something, they are actually selling it. So that's where it starts. It starts with building those relationships, and I want to tell you to start right now. And yes, you can go for the short-term success, and you can think, what, in the short term, I can make a few sales. Maybe I can make a couple of €1,000 right today or next week by talking to people. But think about the long game. What is it going to help you and give you in the long term? And think about that really strongly. So we just spoke about raising your standards, about talking to people every day, and also bringing out your offer. Really, if you're hearing someone say, I wish this and this happened, give them an offer that fits their needs, and just say, what, this is my offer to you, and I want to give it to you, and that's it. All right. Thank you so much for watching day 4 of 5. So how to, hello Tina, how are you? So how you are doing, talk to people about your offer, and also ask for the sale. Good luck. And if you're just tuning in, you can look back at this replay, of course. It's just 10 minutes, and thank you so much for watching, and let me know how it's going. Do send me some DMs. Do send me a DM on how your progress is going. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.